When I was 15 years old, I made out with this chick. Her name was Katrin. She was from Switzerland. I thought it was the coolest thing in the world. Now, I'm not so interested in the European Union. Let's take a look. Carney is. Canada's pretty far away from Europe to be a part of the European Union. Something fishy is going on. I thought the old world order was just fine. I'll take that back, please.
If I can just add to what both my colleagues have said. So C-75 introduced in 2019, or claimed in 2019, fundamentally changed bail in this country. C-48 3 years later, sought to start plugging the holes because almost immediately it didn't. You can see the problems with C-75. It has fundamentally created this unbalance that Chief McSween just spoke of. The reality is that where one of the driving principles behind C-75 was to impose the least onerous conditions possible. The problem with that, and that sounds great in concept, but the problem with that is that it needs to be balanced against the needs of the community and the safety of victims. And so we see recidivists being at the core of these very, very serious criminal offenses that are being committed. People who we had an opportunity to balance that scale and bring in the voice of the victims, the larger community, future victims, and that has not occurred. The federal government, in passing this law, created special community courts to deal with bail. None have been constituted in Canada. It just doesn't exist. And so these things are not new. These things have been happening for a while, and police leaders have been talking about this for some period of time.
As long as they are going to take this posture of aggression and punishment, and they're running a lawless fascist regime, we are not going to be happy with the United States. And we're sure as shit not going to get lectured by the U.S. ambassador that he's disappointed in us like a parent. Get out of here. It's ridiculous. Canada, by the way, is getting huge respect around the world for the fact of our elbows up. So no matter what the ambassador says, the rest of the world respects the hell out of us.
All right. Elbows up.
Elbows up.
Happy birthday. A few days short. A few days short, but didn't have a chance to see you on the day.
He worships the man.
Broken, Canada's broken, and Canada's broken because we're stupid. Okay.
It's time for a change in this country, my friends. A real change.
These are Muslim values. These are Canadian values.
The violence we're seeing in relation to firearm offenses is essentially exclusively to a small number of gang members, thugs using illegal firearms, most of the time that come across the border. About 90% of the 700 illegal firearms we seized last year came across the border. And most of the time people on bail or are prohibited from using a firearm.
Question to Mr. Campbell to start. The federal gun ban and confiscation scheme is an absolute disaster. Police, academics, licensed gun owners, and everyday taxpayers know that targeting lawful firearm owners won't make Canadians safe. You, sir, are on record saying, quote, "We know that the gun buyback program is going to have essentially zero impact on the crime in Toronto," end of quote. The public safety minister, Gary Andasangari, certainly doesn't seem to think it'll work either. He admitted on a leaked audio recording that legal gun owners aren't causing crime and that police services likely don't have the resources to follow through on the project. Does the Toronto Police Association and your members, sir, believe that the Prime Minister should fire the Minister of Public Safety? Yes or no?
So I don't want to weigh in on who should be fired at this time, but I definitely would want to comment on the gun registry and the impacts on safety in Toronto, if that's possible.
Please.
Yeah, so I mean, the bottom line, the City of Toronto is the gun buyback program would not have any impact on the violence we're seeing in the city. The violence we're seeing in relation to firearm offenses is essentially exclusively to a small number of gang members, thugs using illegal firearms, most of the time that come across the border. About 90% of the 700 illegal firearms we seized last year came across the border. And most of the time people on bail or are prohibited from using a firearm.
And practically speaking, that means regardless of what the offense is, regardless of the impact that it has to the community or the victim, regardless of the criminal record, which may establish a pattern of breaching court orders or a pattern of committing the same offense over and over again, and quite frankly, regardless of the number of prior releases the person may be on, that person should be released. At the core of your recommendation, sir, do you believe the principle of restraint has to be rescinded?
Yeah, we do, and we've called for that. In the end, and I want to repeat, it is not about politics for us, but it's our members having to go see the mother of an 8-year-old just a few weeks ago that was shot and killed while sleeping in his bed beside his mother. One youth's been arrested, 2 are still outstanding. They're both on release, using illegal firearms, and so something needs to change.
All 3 of you, as well as all other members of the police associations and services, premiers, MLAs, mayors, victim advocacy groups, have been pleading with this Liberal government under the leadership of Justin Trudeau and now under Mark Carney and all the various justice ministers to implement immediate bail reform change to keep Canadians safe. Why, in your opinions, in your collective opinions, I'd like to hear from all 3 of you, in your opinion, why has your pleas fallen on deaf ears by this Liberal government?
The first time we did meet with Sean Fraser, we met and we explained exactly the same things I'm saying today. The same information we have provided to the Conservative Party, we provided to Sean Fraser as well. I don't know. I really don't know. This is not about someone that's made a mistake or some minor criminal offenses. This is just a small number of really violent thugs and criminals that are causing all the problems in the city.
Thank you. I believe the Justice Minister needs to go on a ride along very, very soon.
We'll take anybody anytime in the
Thank
city.
Conditions. That went into effect a little over 6 years ago. That bill was passed. How soon after that, Mr. Stamatakis, did you start to see the effects of increased bail on less onerous conditions?
Yeah, I don't know if I can. I mean, this was an issue already, and I think the effects arguably were felt immediately, almost immediately, because for all the reasons that we've described, and I don't want to repeat them, but we do, what I would say is we need almost like a bifurcated system where I actually don't have an issue with the principle of restraint or the concept in C-75 when it comes to, a first-time offender with no history. But what we need to do is we need to find a way to treat the violent repeat offender differently.
What do you mean by reasonably confused? Because concerns we're hearing from some Muslim groups is that like a Palestinian flag could be flown outside during a protest, and a police officer might confuse that for Hamas's flag.
Yeah, look, thank you, and that is such an important clarification. So when we are dealing with a terror organization that has a specific symbol, we would be targeting that. But when I say reasonably confused, what we're trying to target is someone who would tinker with an image slightly to make the argument that in fact it's not the symbol, when in fact the intent is to still promote hate through the use of the symbol that may not be observable easily in the circumstances. So this is not about to be clear, this is not about a Palestinian flag.
Mr. Solvay, Bill C-48 strengthened reverse honors on intimate partner violence and firearm offenses, 2 areas that police and victim advocates identify as priorities. From the RCMP's perspective, how have these changes improved the safety of victims and officers on the front lines?
I don't think they have. Oh, yeah.
Palestinians! We are all Palestinians! From Maryland to the sea! Be coordinated so we don't have any trouble. Everybody that's not supposed to be in front of the banner, get behind the banner.
Great honor to be with you today. Canada has proudly stood with Ukraine since the beginning of Russia's illegal invasion. Our country is home to 1.4 million people of Ukrainian descent. Canada and Ukraine are deeply connected. As my husband said in Sofia Square on Ukrainian Independence Day, your fight is our fight, your struggle is our cause, and your independence will be our victory. Canada will always stand in solidarity with Ukraine. As we have heard, in this war, Putin has targeted some of the most vulnerable populations. It is incomprehensible what the thousands of abducted Ukrainian children and their families are living.
And it's going to be a long road, by the way, so brace yourself.
Kenny, hey, Kenny. Oh, hello. Listen, Kenny, we need to talk about your new girlfriend. What about? Oh, boy. Kenny, we know you really like this girl, but... But what? Well, we've heard that she's... Kenny, your girlfriend is a notorious...
We're not only in a trade war, we might be in real war, and the last thing we need is for anybody to take our patriotic battle cry of elbows up to Canadians and mock it and put it down. When Pierre Poilievre says elbows down, he is echoing MAGA talking points and attacks on our country. You can criticize Mark Carney all you want. It's your job. But you don't have to do it by denigrating Canada's sense of power and purpose and patriotism in this critical moment for our sovereignty and our economy.
Hello, Canada. Big news. I've resigned from cabinet because, well, I totally rocked it as finance minister, right? Turned that $1.2 trillion debt into $12 trillion. Wait, no, $1.2 quadrillion. Numbers are tricky. Anyway, Prime Minister Mark Carney, smart guy, loves Ukraine, gave me this perfect new gig, head of disappearing money for Canada's Ukraine Reconstruction Fund. It's like poof, cash out of Canada into freedom. I mean, rebuilding schools, roads, or yachts. Who knows, but it'll be sustainable. Who's excited?
Christia, you're such an icon. How will your empowering story inspire young women in Ukraine?
Aw, thanks. See, I'm a woman, so that's like bonus points. I'll send $5 billion, no, $50 billion to empower them. It'll grow like my deficits did. Magic.
Fabulous. And does this role highlight Canada's compassionate global leadership?
Yes. Compassion means spending other people's money. Carney says I'm uniquely positioned. Probably because I made so much vanish here first. $10 trillion to Kyiv minus coffee runs. Priorities?
Hold on, this is a farce. Christia, you resigned because you couldn't balance a checkbook if it came with training wheels. Debt exploded on your watch. Inflation hit families like a hockey puck to the face. And now Carney's shipping you off to Ukraine as special envoy for reconstruction. Translation, head of the Cash Vanishing Act. How much taxpayer loot are we funneling there this time? Another $10 billion with zero audits just to disappear into oligarch pockets. And CBC, you pathetic government-funded sock puppets tossing fluff balls like it's a liberal tea party. Who signs your paychecks? Us, the suckers paying for your state media circus while you ignore real scandals.
Andy, that's rude. It's $500 million for hope. Carney picked me because I'm great at moving things. CBC's unbiased, they love me.
Unbiased. You're joking. They're scared of defunding like the rest of us are scared of your math. Christia, you're not leading. You're fleeing. When's the audit? Or do we just wave bye to the billions? Canada deserves better than this clown show.
I need Carney on the phone. Presser over, freedom for all.
Broken, Canada's broken, and Canada's broken because we're stupid. Okay? Canada's broken because we're stupid.
How many kids did you molest with Jeffrey Epstein?
More than just elbows.
When I was 15 years old, I made out with this chick. Her name was Katrin. She was from Switzerland. I thought it was the coolest thing in the world. Now, I'm not so interested in the European Union. Let's take a look. Carney is. Canada's pretty far away from Europe to be a part of the European Union. Something fishy is going on. I thought the old world order was just fine. I'll take that back, please.
So we're meeting now in that context in, as you just said, in hard times. We might say even a hinge moment of history, a world that's more dangerous and divided, a time where the rules-based international, the global order, rules-based global order is under threat, in a time when technological change is accelerating. And we really have two choices as a jurisdiction, as a country in this circumstance. We can nostalgically look back and long for the old order to somehow return, or we can build a new one with purpose and partnership. And as the most European of the non-European countries, Canada looks first to the European Union to build a better world. As a European, I am a
Honorary
European,
European.
actually.
Oh, you are?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
oh.
I'm Irish citizen. Yeah, so there you
welcome,
go.
welcome.
Speaking as a European.
WTF. Here, here.
How many kids did you molest with Jeffrey Epstein?
More than just elbows. And as the most European of the non-European countries.
Being aware of what potential conflicts of interest you
What
sought
possible
to avoid.
conflict would you have, Stephanie? Stephanie, I'm complying with the rules. I'm complying with the rules in advance. These are Muslim values. These are Canadian values.
Hi, everyone. Congratulations, you're spending more money on taxes than on food, clothing, and shelter combined.
Hey, that's something everyone can enjoy.
All right, gang, thank you all very much for watching. Aaron, Canadian Looney, like, share, subscribe. Smash that subscribe. We're trying to grow this thing. Canadian Federal Politics. Get yours right here. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you in the next video.